The goal of appointment setter is quite basic. It's to set appointments. So this is the first thing that we're going to type down here. Set appointments. And if we think a little bit further, it's set appointments with qualified prospects that fit your ideal client profile, which is what ICP stands for. And if we think about it a little bit further, we also want these set as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Now, before you can set an appointment, really, this is the biggest goal, right? This is the ultimate goal. This is something that you do for yourself or for your company. But if you think about it, before you can make this happen, you really need to get a initial response from your potential clients. So get the response to a message that you've sent out, because again, if you've sent out a message and they haven't replied, we cannot really proceed and try to invite them for a call, because it will not succeed anyway. This is appointment setter training, and in this specific video I talk about appointment setting on LinkedIn. This video is from a business owner's perspective, and this is how I teach, this is how I train my appointment setters for myself and for my clients. If you need some help teaching or training your appointment setters, make sure you reach out to me and we can have a chat and see how I can help you out. Now, back to the video. Before we go any further, I'd like you to know this important statistic, which comes from Forrester. And these guys are into B2B research and how it all operates out there in the B2B sales. They discovered through their survey, it showed that B2B buyers engage in an average of 27 interactions over the course of a buying journey. And this number is up by 93% since 2015. And 60% of B2B purchases now involve groups of 4 or more people. So if you're an appointment setter, you need to figure this out. So if people are not replying to your messages, it means you need a little bit more interactions, while you should also maintain the quality of your messages. And this is something that I will touch upon going further in the training. But this is important. Yeah, this number of interactions over the course of a buying journey has increased dramatically. And this is data for 2021, probably when 2024 right now probably has gone up even further. So this is important to understand, yeah, because interactions. Now we're going into tasks. And if you think about it, tasks is something that is appointment setting job is pretty monotonous. So your tasks would include, depending on how you operate, they might include finding prospects that fit your ICP, so ideal client profile, then reaching out, connecting to them, sending connection requests. This is specifically for LinkedIn, sending connection requests. And then it goes about really connecting with them through direct messages, sending DMs, and nurturing, following up. That's how I would describe this. And also, what's important, especially if they produce content on LinkedIn, it's all about really commenting. Because once you start commenting on their posts, they really, first of all, they really start liking you a lot, because you show them some love. They create posts and they don't get much interaction typically. So once you go out there and start commenting on their posts, people start appreciating you more, and they're more likely to respond to your direct messages, because this is when the reciprocity thing kind of kicks in as well. So they comment on your posts, and it means they kind of owe you something. So they're more likely to respond to you through direct messages. However, it also involves the tasks, also involves updating the CRM, basically keeping all these prospects in place and understanding where they are, at what stage, how have you communicated, and so forth. So updating the CRM is really, really important. And basically just keeping the entire process flowing. Before we go any further, I'd like to bring up your attention to something what is called buyer's pyramid. And this then came from Chet Holmes. He was a very famous American coach, sales coach, and an author. So that's what it looks like. So when Chet Holmes was performing in front of the stage, he would naturally ask people about if they're in a market, if they're buying if anybody's looking for to buy new tires for their car, or anybody looking for a dentist right now? So like he would literally ask these questions off the stage and then see how many people would raise their hands. And through this process, through this observation, he discovered that actually any moment in time, it's 3% of the audience that are actually actively looking for a solution. It means that they're aware about the problem that they have and they're actively looking for a solution. So this is what this 3% thing is all about. And the 7%, they are aware that the problem exists. They know that, but they're not actively looking for a solution at any moment, like at this moment right now. They have different priorities. They're busy with something else. Something else is going on. They're just not ready for this. Don't have the money, whatever. But they're aware of this problem. So the other 30% are not thinking about it right now. So they haven't really realized that they've got this problem. The other 30% think that they're not interested, and the other 30%, they know that they're not interested. They're 100% solid about that. They're not looking to buy in any moment in time. So, these aspects, it's important to understand because in any moment in time, you reach out to the potential clients, only 3% are looking for the solution. Okay. It doesn't mean that they're looking for a solution from you, it means that they're looking for a solution. And there are 7% that are kind of open to buying. So you have to be really, really careful with your messaging. And as time goes, as you are collecting these touch points as well, as you're collecting these touch points, you will see that more and more people start converting. Yeah. So somebody you reached out maybe a couple of months back simply because you were kind of dripping in through your campaign or talking to them or engaging with their comments, you will see how all of a sudden they'd be more likely to reach out because simply because you were on the radar for so long. And modern technology and tools allow us to do this fairly easily. Now back to the daily activities. So what is a setter? What would a setter do on LinkedIn? Basically, LinkedIn has a couple of really cool features that a setter should be using. So, for example, every time you visit your potential client's profile, your potential client gets a notification that you've been checking out their profile. So, if you think about these interactions again, it's going towards that. They're becoming more and more familiar with yourself. It's almost like, I don't know if it ever occurred to you, but a lot of people, when they're traveling around, they are, say somebody goes to some foreign countries, like we're in Asia. So they go there, and if you think about it, there's so many different restaurants. The cuisine is very different, and they can go and try it out and really enjoy something very special from that part of the world. But oftentimes they end up going to, say, McDonald's simply because they are aware of what they can expect. They're familiar with the brand and they're ready to buy from this. So this is the same situation. So before you can actually sell, they need to be familiar with yourself and understand where you're coming from. Yeah, and that requires a certain degree of interactions and basically sending the messages and talking to your clients through direct messages, through commenting, through your content, etc., etc. So the daily tasks can include things like checking your potential clients' LinkedIn profile. Simply just if you just open it up and then spend a second there and then close it down, they will see this in their notification. So imagine if you do it every 3 days, they constantly think about yourself. Next then is comment on their content. This is not always possible because if you look at it from the percentage point of view, very few people, again, percentage wise, produce content on LinkedIn. So it's not always possible to comment on their content. However, you can still check their profile. Following up with direct messages, and I'll write it down in an intelligent manner. Let me put it this way. If you write a message that is like, "Oh, have you seen my previous email?" That's it. That you're out of the window. If you've seen your previous message and it sucks, and that's why I haven't responded. So you have to send really intelligent emails, and we'll talk a little bit about it going further because it's really all about your specific business. But in a grand overview of things, you should be leading with value and with a result that you can provide them and that can be proven as well. So that's important. And that it applies to their business as well. So if they are a SaaS company you should be leading with, oh, we help this other SaaS company, which is in the same sector as you are, in the same industry, to obtain this growth. How about we have a chat? You lead with value. Okay. That's important. And you do it for a long enough period of time. Again, think of interactions, think of the buyer's pyramid, just how much it takes, how much time it takes to nurture your clients, and everybody's there on their own timeline. Again, they might be aware of the problem, but they're still not looking for a solution, or they're not even thinking about it at the same time right now. Their mind is on something else, and it can be business, it can be family, it can be other personal stuff, whatever it is. Again, updating CRM anytime you get like a response or there's a shift. So, for example, all of a sudden, your prospect has replied to you after three messages. So, this is when you move them from one part of your CRM, say, um, from non-responders to like, oh, they've actually responded. Okay, that's an upgrade. You should be performing with your CRM, and making sure that any prospect you had a conversation with is also pushed further into the sales cycle. So you've had a discovery call with them, yeah, like your company, or maybe it's yourself again, you're doing this. So make sure you don't lose track of them, and make sure you push them towards the basically the strategy session, the sales call itself, after you perform this set cycle. When it comes to the tools, so depending on how deep you are in the company's operations as an appointment setter, you can be using tools like LinkedIn automation to add prospects from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. There are a lot of tools that you can use out there. I personally tried quite a few of those. So I tried Wellexy, I tried Lemlist, I tried Linked Helper 2, I tried Octopus CRM. I tried some other tools. They're pretty much all the same. Just be careful about the safety aspect. Okay. So, automation, it's against LinkedIn's terms of service. So, you have to be really careful. Right now, as of recording this video, LinkedIn is fairly like, it's like it knows the problem is there, but they're like looking at it like this. So, they're okay with this for now, but that stuff can change. So, watch out. Next is some sort of a CRM. So again, depending on what your company is using, if you're looking for something simple, I recommend Kanbox. I'll have a link in the description. I really like it. I've done an interview with a co-founder, and I just like the way it looks. Okay, and I'm actually going to show it to you in a moment as well. And then with automation as well, you can actually set up automation to visit your potential clients' profiles as well. So that is a feature of some automation tools. So that again is really, really helpful to play with those to play with those touch points. What I don't like automatic commenting tools because they're out there as well. So they can leave comments for you. The reason I don't like them is because they're not really good and they're very machine like. You can tell it's AI writing. It's not like a real human. And at the start, it looks great. People quickly understand the agenda, what's going on. So, yeah, it becomes pretty useless. Let's put it this way. So, I don't recommend automated commenting tools or any of that nature. So, LinkedIn automation, then you've got the CRM, LinkedIn automation, CRM, anything else is there. Like, not really. With LinkedIn automation, sometimes we can also have, let's say, Lemlist, the way it operates. So it will try to reach out to your potential, to the contact that you want to connect with. And if they don't respond, say, in 3 days, the tool can start sending not the direct messages. It will actually go and start sending emails. Okay. So that's really powerful as well. You can use that to get people that haven't connected with you or not active on LinkedIn start responding as well. So now let's talk a little bit about the actual process. So, okay, that's it. You have it. They have already accepted the connection request. And what are we doing now? Okay. So the message template that I really like using comes from the fact of what people on LinkedIn don't like. And people on LinkedIn, they don't like two things. So they hate spammers. So once they accept the connection request, and if you pitch them right away, or we're this and that company, we do this, like 99.9 times out of 100, that stuff doesn't work anymore. Okay. So that's not going to fly. They hate spammers and they hate time wasters. So then it kind of is okay. How do we not? How do we tell them about the stuff that we do without being spammy and without wasting their time? And this is when this message template idea comes from. And I have a very rich history and a lot of experience sending messages called messages that get response. Okay, and the best way to do this, if you think about somebody that you want to make emotional in a good way, if you think about your friend, for example, or somebody that fits your ideal client profile who already is your client, and think about it like what can provoke a positive response in them. So this is how I approach my messages. Okay, or if they will find it valuable, something that can be helpful for them, it can be valuable for them, or something that makes them smile. Okay, because once there is a bit of a positive emotion on the other side, they're a lot more likely to respond to your message. And I will show you an example of that going further. Given that, my message template goes like this. I'd frequently start with basically name. You can say, you can have like a exclamation mark or say glad to connect or whatever it is. It's not that important. In fact, if you sound like anything like other salespeople or other appointment setters, forget it. You really have to stand out. Now, this is the personalization part. It can be, I don't recommend having it longer than one sentence. Yeah, it can be just a few words, whatever it is. And the idea is to what I call unlock your prospect. So by unlocking them, I mean that they expect you have checked out their profile and that you are somewhat witty with this first line. So, and I'll show you some example again. I'll show an example going forward, but this bit is very important. Okay. You want to show them some love. So, how do you do that? Check out their LinkedIn profile, maybe. You can check the website that they have. About me section is really, really helpful. Sometimes you can find stuff. You can Google search, see if something funny shows up. Because really, if you dig a little bit, if you spend it 1, 2, 3 minutes for this thing and you unlock your potential client, they'll be much more responsive to what you got going further. So this is the first part. It's really important. And the second part of the template is what I call business stuff. And by business stuff, this is not where you include like, oh, I'm this and that company. I am, we do these results like for these guys. Like, are you interested? Whatever. I don't recommend this because people are, when it comes to direct messages, they're a lot less likely to be responsive, especially at the start, especially once you're not really understanding what sort of product market fit you have and what is this exactly what people are looking for. Because in some occasions, this can fly when you come up and like, oh, we do this for these companies. We've worked with this and this and that. Are you interested? Want to check it out? Then it can work. Okay. But you need to have some kind of weight and presence. So if you already have like an established brand, you're already familiar in the field, of course, people will be more likely to be receptive to this kind of offer. But in this case, I'd like to say that I'm reaching out. This is business request, so I'm not going to waste your time. But I just wanted to start this conversation in some nice manner, a really like a more humane approach. So this is what this template looks like. And it really shouldn't be longer than two sentences and the hello, like say John. So you were skiing in Aspen, whatever. How was it? A lot of snow there this year, whatever it is. By the way, this is business related, but I just wanted to start off with something pleasant because I love skiing myself. That's it. That's your first message. And that's when you wait for their response. They'll be like, oh, nice approach. What have you got for me? And this is when you can ask them questions, pre-qualify them if that's necessary, and then invite them for a call if it fits them. That's how it works. That's basically the process. This is your goal as an appointment setter. So right now I'm going to transition to Kanbox and show you how that works. So you have an example. So this is Kanbox. Right now it's loaded and it's got this inbox. And you can see like the stuff is really nicely organized and read. Last message sent by member. Last message sent by me. Never answered. So you can really get access to this message really, really quickly. But that's not the prettiest part of this simple CRM tool. I love the pipelines. It is Awesome. So here's my pipeline for financial advisors. Is when I was testing out some stuff, and you can see that I've got these leads here. So these are all the people that I reached out to, but they haven't responded to me yet. Then I've got this next bar where it says contact made, column says contact made. It means they've responded to me. Remember that? The first the micro goal of an appointment setter is get a response. So this is when I got a response. And then at some stage, I sent them the discovery. Cool. So I sent them a link to my calendar. And then I've got these guys that have booked the discovery call, and I've got the guys that have gone through the discovery with me. And then I will transition anybody who is close the deal into further column. And then I also have somebody who is like definitely not interested, and this comes again from this pyramid when they're definitely not interested for whatever reason. So that's Kanbox in nature, all of it. So I'm not looking to review this tool right now, but I just wanted to show you something that you can use yourself in order to have this stuff organized, because in essence you really want to be nurturing these potential clients, these potential these prospects every once in a while, and get those touch points dialed in. Now let's talk a little bit about the KPIs. So this is very subjective stuff, but this is something to give you some reference points. Okay, so 30 to 50% of messages you send will be responded to. So that's the idea. When it comes to connection requests sent out on LinkedIn, you're good once you're getting anywhere between 20 to 30 connection requests being accepted. That is good, that's okay. If you're going over than that, amazing. If you're going lower than that, maybe stop doing connection request notes, because notes usually on average, if you have a note included, a personalized note, people are less likely to connect with you. That's really funny, but it is what it is. Next is this bit. 10 to 20% of those responses, conversations, will book discovery calls. 70 to 80% of discovery calls will turn into strategy sessions. And then 25 to 40% of strategy sessions will close as a result. These are the KPIs. Again, this is all relative. You might be performing a lot better or somewhat worse than this. It's totally normal, but these are some KPIs for you. Now I'm going to go into the practical example. So this is something that I did with this potential client of mine at the time, just to illustrate how this approach works. One of the tasks that I give to my trainees, the people that I train, the appointment setters, is I have them stare at the LinkedIn page right now of this lovely gentleman, and I tell them, okay, you are only limited to what you're seeing right now. You cannot Google search, you cannot scroll down, you cannot do any of that. Tell me something that sticks out to you that you can comment about themselves that will make them feel nice, maybe smile, or maybe something like that. So, for example, if we look at it here, they've got this team, and as you can see, that none of them is actually wearing ties. So you'd be like, oh, remember the template that I used? The template goes like this. So the first one is a personalization. Name, personalization, business. So you go like, oh man, I bet you took this photo on the banner on the Friday because none of you are wearing ties. Question mark, haha, something like this. And then you say, by the way, this is business related, but just something that occurred to me, wanted to make it a little bit more fun. And that's how you would approach this. So now looking at my messages, here's what I did. I'm going like this. Gunnar, great to connect with you. House stands in Minocqua. I don't even know how to pronounce this. I must admit, I've never heard of this town. And as you can see on the profile, this is exactly where it is. And my logic with this is that this is a small town that people never heard about this place. And this is something that this person definitely need to kind of explain to people every so often. So I thought I'd become more related to this guy through this thing. And then I'm going further right into this. I'm saying, you know what's funny? This is what shows up on Google when I search for it. And then there's a photo, I'll show you, of this is the place, and this is two turtles basically showing love to each other. And I'm saying in a smiley face. And here's his reply. Ha 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 ha. immediately you can tell that the guy on the other side is he's at least smiling. Yeah, so he kind of there is certain degree of positive emotion that I was able to invoke in him. So this approach can be a little bit risky, yeah, but like I went all in with this because ultimately I want to work with people that are the same in a way that myself, yeah, so I can relate myself. So for me, it's important. So and then I'm saying not inappropriate because obviously it's out there, it's on Google. And then he's like, I know that zoo, my friend actually runs it. He is a big jokester, so I'm sure that's why it's there. Love whatever the place is pronounced, though. Pretty little town for sure. I promise it's not full of horny turtles. So we're like really having fun. A bit of another conversation. And then he's saying, love it. Also, great outreach. It's obvious you do good work for advisors. That relationship building game is on point. I already like you. So that's the thing. That's the thing you kind of have to invoke in people. So once they start liking you, it's really a lot easier to make it happen. Okay. And then I appreciate it, Gunner. Would love to meet you for an e-coffee if you got time this or next week. So I'm giving him the two options. So I'm not saying, oh, would you like to have a e-coffee with me? I'm saying this or next week. So one or the other, because that also helps to kind of close this meeting. And there you have it, pretty much. Afterwards, he's booked the call only because you sent me a picture of a turtle. I would normally take this call as I think I'm pretty all right at building relationships, but I give credit where it's due. Joined. So, I mean, he's joined the group as well here and booked for tomorrow. So he's booked the meeting. Okay. That's it. This is the appointment setting job in reality. That was really easy, this example, because I was able to unlock him, what I call it, yeah, unlock him really, really easily with this funny turtle stuff, which surprise kind of associated with the stuff that he already knows, given that his friend runs the zoo, and then just invited him to come over for the call, and that's how it was. So that's pretty much it for this appointment setter training. Guys, like and subscribe if you need some help with training your appointment setters, because there's a whole bunch of other things that goes into this here, like LinkedIn profile optimization, the actual cadence of sending emails and messages through DMs, how to follow up, and all this stuff. Let me know. This stuff is specific to every business, but I've shown you everything that you need to be successful in this video. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.